first things that we did was to set the house in order, right? Number one, how do you figure out narrative of what is it that you're trying to build? What about it is something that is necessary right now? What about it would make the world a slightly better place than what it is today? How would this become a really large, successful enterprise? And how would you build this in a way that can have sustainable long-term network effects that will make the business more defensible from competition and from external factors as we go along. Right? In general, these are the things that VCs look for, and these are the things that you as founders should obsess over, should be paranoid about. And that's kind of what we did. We started figuring out this narrative for us. We started answering some of these fundamental questions. Of course, as a founder, you have these questions at the back of your head and you have some answers, but it is important to be able to structure those answers in a way that can make sense to somebody who hears it for the first time in a manner that is succinct and in a manner that is effective. So we went about fixing this narrative. It involved us putting together a pitch deck. It involved us putting together a set of email templates to be able to reach out to different kinds of investors. It involved me practicing how exactly would I pitch what I'm doing with Headout. A small pitch which is like a one-liner, or longer pitch which is a one-minute conversation when you meet somebody in a conference or in a party, a long conversation which is about using the deck that we have and pitching it with that. Different kinds of pitches requiring different kinds of sentences and different kinds of style in terms of how you explain what you're doing. We had to practice each one of them. It sounds boring, but it is imperative that you get it right, because you meet these people not very often, and when you do meet them, you have that small window, and you need to be able to make use of that small window and have the maximum impact for whatever time that you get with these individuals. And so there's just a lot of boring prep work that happens at the background to be able to become good at this, and that's kind of what we had to do. I remember practicing my pitch at least about 75 times until I knew it both forwards and backwards. And we had this doc where we had a long list of FAQs. I think we had about 96, 97 questions that people could ask. Anything from boring sort of metrics to what would happen tomorrow if the world went belly up. And what sort of would be the place or the need for a product like Headout to exist. All of those kind of things, right? The entire spectrum. We had all of those things ready for us. We also put together a data room, which essentially was all our metrics into one single sort of space with all the things that a VC or anybody who's looking at your business would look at. It was a very detailed financial sort of document. Both, it was past looking in terms of what our existing numbers were, and it was forward looking in terms of what our projections were. We had this process where we wanted to first reach out to a set of investors that we thought were less likely to say yes to us, because in the beginning few days when you're trying to talk to investors, you will get your pitches wrong. You will get feedback about what's working and what's not working. And so we thought that it makes sense for us to be able to talk to investors that we think are less likely to invest in us, to be able to get their feedback, because even if they say no, it's not going to have a material impact on our outcome. So we set up those meetings. I think what is important during a fundraising process is to have a specific start date and have a specific end date, to be very organized, to be very execution focused. And I think that's kind of where your skill as a founder becomes very critical. You need to make sure that you have all of these things that we just talked about, the deck, the templates, the practice, the investor list ready, the financial documents ready. Once all of them are ready and at your disposal, you then sort of figure out a truncated period, anywhere between a few weeks to maybe at max 2 months, to be able to do an actual fundraising process. And then you hit this entire list at one single shot, day in and day out, right? The first week, we decided that we want to meet approximately 5 investors every single day. And we want to meet investors that are less likely to invest in us so that we can get feedback and sort of iterate on that feedback. We met in that first week approximately about 30 investors. And in that meetings, every meeting was about anywhere between 45 minutes to maybe 2 hours. We were able to kind of quickly figure out what was working, what was not, come back to the office in the evening, iterate on that, change what we had written, or practice what I was missing or what I was not executing as well, and then go back the next day and sort of do this process over and again. Once we were done with that first week, we knew what was working. We were very confident in what we were pitching. So the second week was all about sort of going after the most likely leads that we have and getting as many yeses as possible. What we did, which was slightly different than what perhaps is the norm, was that we focused on meeting investors that are typically more connected than some of the other investors would be, right? Each investor has their own skill set and their own sort of, I would say, secret sauce. We figured that there were some specific angel investors who are connectors, who knew the ecosystem and who knew a really large number of VCs. And so if we could get that one person to say yes and to love Head Out, then that one person could connect us to a wide variety of different investors. And so in that second week, we got partially very lucky, and partially our strategy kind of paid off, where we met 3 or 4 angels that said yes to investing in us, which was the first few yeses that we received. And those guys were so excited by what we were doing that they said that we will make introductions for you to our friends, to our VC friends and angel friends. And really what happened from that point onwards was that after we got these first 5 yeses, these guys then connected us to the next sort of 5 friends of theirs, which means that we had now had 25 high quality introductions to investors from people who want to invest in us, right? And those 25 then gave us some more introductions and so on and so forth. And so now essentially what ended up happening was that instead of me chasing people for meetings, I was being chased for meetings, the other way around.